Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Iron Elite Podcast Show with your boy Sarge. Hey, man, I got a great show on this evening, man. So let everybody know we're on. Share with a friend. Kane Foel, where you at? Let's go.
I was asked the other day, hey Sarge, why you never play any fast music on your podcast? It's simple. I'm petty.
Hurry up, don't truck it up, rev your motors up. If it ain't clean, get your polish up, big sword. You in charge, real king of the south. If you ain't getting y'all gotta keep it motorcycle, you dig? Hurry up, don't truck it up, rev your motors up. If it ain't clean, get your polish up, big sword. You in charge, real king of the south. If you ain't getting y'all gotta keep it motorcycle, you dig? Slide on my road glide, looking so fly, 20-inch rollback, screaming eagle torque pack. I-10 to the end, it's a known patch. If you ain't a ground pounder, pay attention, fall back. We Iron Elite boys, no need for hitting switches. We split lanes and hogging lanes, we on a mission. On our way to CA, we 100 deep. Run it up, y'all the road, run it up, rip it up. Hurry up, don't truck it up, rev your motors up. If it ain't clean, get your polish up, big sword. You in charge, real king of the south. If you ain't getting yonder, gotta keep it motorcycle, you dig? Hurry up, don't truck it up, rev your motors up. If it ain't clean, get your polish up, big sword. You in charge, real king of the south. If you ain't getting yonder, gotta keep it motorcycle, you dig? I'm outside with it. I scrape the town burning loud when the smoke clear up. You know I hardly did it. I'm real naughty with it. My ride clean when it bling. I show the lean on the scene to get jiggy with it. No did it, get it? I'm well equipped it. My bike side got a side, so you know I'm hit. She dropped it down and split it. Backed it up to shift it. Let me kick a little game to you lames riding around here, giving a set a bad name. It don't matter what you rank or what you claim. When we turn it up, you keep it motorcycling, man. My soul brothers, they roll runners, we rolling deep. When it's time to rally up, it's Black Wall Street. When you see them MCs at the RTE, roll it up, down the road, run it up, rip it up. Hurry up, don't truck it up, rev your motors up. If it ain't clean, get your polish up, big sword. You in charge, real king of the south. If you ain't getting yonder, gotta keep it motorcycle, you dig? Hurry up, don't truck it up, rev your motors up. If it ain't clean, get your polish up, big sword. You in charge, real king of the south. If you ain't getting yonder, gotta keep it motorcycle, you dig?
But Sarge, why you always gotta talk about motorcycling? Sarge, why you don't never talk about nothing else? Look here, man. If you gonna do all that crying, what the baby gonna do?
Hey, man, once again, good evening and welcome to the Iron Elite Podcast Show with your boy Sarge. I know what y'all was saying, man, Sarge, we ain't seen you out there lately on a Saturday. I know, man, my schedule changed, man. I'm in jail without no bail, at least into the end of the year, man. But I'm going to get it together and get everything squared away, man. So shout out to the Red Breed, Jacksonville, Florida, man. Rest in peace to their brother, man. They put him to rest, man. Rest in heaven, my guy. Yesterday, man, had an awesome home going for him, man. And this, let me say this, man, before I get this show started. Let me say this, man. Okay, we're in the South. We're in the South. In June, July, August, man, it is going to rain. It's going to rain, it's going to rain, it's going to rain, and it's going to rain some more. So get ready, man. Just get yourself prepared. Ain't nothing you're going to be able to do to get around it, to get through it, to get under it. It's going to rain, man. So get your quality rain suit. Get your pin lock and get your rain riding skills together, because if not, you cannot go coast to coast in the summertime, man, on the I-10, man. So enough said about that, man. Hopefully everybody's having a great evening. Hopefully everybody's back home safe and sound from wherever you were going at yonder, man, crossing time zone and splitting state lanes and state signs and all that other cool stuff. And shout out to my riders, man, Sons of Solomon. Those guys are just made it to El Paso, Texas, safe and sound. So they're in the hotel, hopefully getting some sleep. But that's not the reason we're here, man. We're here to talk about the I-10 to the end. And I got a gangster on with me this evening. Man, I got a Titan 2021. I got a 48th state rider with me today, man. I got a legend, man. And I'm finna bring her on, man. So get ready. Here we go. Let me see, can I find her? Doc J, how are you, sis?
Hey, I'm blessed, brother. I'm blessed. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. You see what we
What's
got,
up?
man. We got Doc J on today, man. I call her Mary J. Blige on a motorcycle, man. She's Fantasia. She all that stuff on a motorcycle, man. So yeah. So sis, you fresh back. How long you been back now?
I want to say a week almost. Wait, when did I get back?
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like
yeah.
I'm still on the
Charlotte.
road.
Yeah, cause see
Got back
you.
on Monday.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Cause
so
see you.
5 days. I've been home about 5 days.
Cause see, you parlayed that into
No, six
you went
days.
to okay, because you parlayed you went into the what's the is it the Essence Festival? Or is it the Black
Yeah,
Girls Who
black
Ride?
girl. Yeah, black girls ride to Essence.
Okay. Oh, I saw y'all getting it in out there. I saw y'all having a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Have a great
yeah.
time
I
every
saw the
year.
riverboat. Yeah, I saw the riverboat, but we ain't gonna say
Yeah.
nothing. But hey, hey, sis, for those who don't know you, we know who he is. She's a Titan 2021 award recipient. She's a gold star, I-10 to the end award winner. But for those who don't know you and that's been sleeping on the rock, if you don't mind, let's take a couple minutes to introduce the world to who you are and a little bit about you.
Oh, man, I'm so shy and humble. I don't get into all that. Nah, just kidding. Nah.
Okay.
I'm Doc. I'm Doc J. I live in Arizona. I will say this is my 11th year riding, so I'm still a new rider, still a new booty rider, but loving it. And it's not really much to say. I'm married with kids. I got my grandkids out here for the summer. So
Right
I'm
on.
excited, and I'm just glad to be here.
Awesome stuff. And we're gonna get into this, but let me say this. Let me say this, y'all. It Doc J, and I'll talk about it later. Doc J, she might not even know it, but you know, well, you don't know, but I'm gonna tell you now. I'm gonna tell you in front of everybody. You
Okay.
were really my inspiration to starting this whole I-10 to the end. Did you know that?
Oh, wow. No, I did not.
You you I'm gonna embarrass you, and then we're gonna get into the story. Let me embarrass you real
Oh,
quick.
Lord. Here we go.
You when you were, I can't remember, that might have been like 2 years earlier. You were doing your 48 states at the time. And I would
Mhm.
watch you every weekend. You would get out and hit a state and you were doing different things. And what I loved about you is that you was never afraid to show us the good, the bad, the ugly. When things went good, you showed it to us. You danced around, you had a great time. When things went really, really bad, you wasn't afraid to show us and tell us what was going on. And I would see that and I said, that was so special. Here this woman is. She's truly showing us in real time how her motorcycle experience is going. And it started dawning on me at that point. And that's when I really start kind of putting the wheels together with this whole each one teach one. Did you know that? Did I ever discuss that with you?
No,
You
no, you
you
did not. And I meant to ask you, but I was like on a mission when I just did this right to the end. I was gonna ask you what was your inspiration and motivation for starting this I-10 to the end challenge. That was one of my questions for
you
you.
were. Actually you were.
Wow,
You were. Matter of not
wow,
only not
that's
only that,
amazing.
but yeah, not only that, but seeing you at the time doing some of the things that you were doing when you first started riding. And I watched you,
Mhm.
take sisters out on a Saturday morning, and your sisters were getting their M1 license or their motorcycle endorsement, and you'd be out there and you were
Yeah.
cheering with them, and when they got the license, you were celebrating with them and all this other stuff. That's really where
Mhm.
I start putting a lot of this stuff together and start to think, man,
Wow.
this is I didn't have a name to the Titan, but the wheels start
Mhm.
turning with all this stuff. So I'm gonna do this real quick. So Dr. Sis, let me
Wow.
give you a Dom DeMarco. Let me give you a Dom DeMarco. Hey, I'm dead serious, man. No cap in this. I'm dead serious. So now that I've embarrassed you, and told the world how to put all this pressure on you. So yeah, so that's where it's from. I don't know if I've ever discussed that publicly on
No.
the platform, but that is true to form. That is where the wheels really start turning on this thing. And I love the way that you never profess to be the best, the greatest motorcycle rider. I've heard you say that a plenty of times, but you always had a big heart. And if there was something to challenge yourself, you were going to get out there. And I would watch you. Sometimes you'd be in the middle of no damn where in the dark trying to figure out how to do a U-turn.
Yeah.
And remember all this, was this in Colorado when you had to stop for the sheep crossing or the goats or something across the road and
Oh, that was coming through Vegas the long
Vegas?
way. Yeah, when I ran
Yeah.
into all of those different animals and I was shaking like booty meat. That was coming through that what is it, the loneliest highway.
Wait,
I
yeah.
forget I don't be paying attention to the
Yeah.
number of the highways, but I do remember it was the loneliest highway in America. I don't know if that's Highway 50, but it's the loneliest highway in America. And I
Wait,
was coming back up through Vegas part, I think on the side of like Death Valley, and kept
yeah.
running. And I felt like Dr. Doolittle that day, running into
Yeah,
all the
you were out there with all
animals.
the animals.
Yes.
Yeah, you were out there with
Donkeys,
it,
sheep,
yeah,
cow, bison.
it was the craziest thing in the world. And
It
after a while,
was.
how you watch something and then it become almost infectious. Now every morning you have to
Yeah.
wake up to see, okay, where's she at? What adventure is she dealing with? Is she dealing with
Yeah.
a broken shifter linkage, or is she dealing with this? And I remember what was the time? Y'all give us some time, man. Y'all give us some grace. We kind of reminiscing a little bit before we get into the 10. But remember the time where you had the shifter linkage that popped on you?
Yes, that was that
Yeah.
same trip, but that was on the way up. I was
Uh
going
huh.
up to go through Oregon, and my
Okay.
shifter broke, and I was going through the mountains, and it
Yeah.
was like those two lanes where it's one lane this way, one lane
Yeah.
coming back. It's windy, it's in the curves, and I'm trying to downshift, and it's not working, and I'm shaking like booty meat, but to always remember what my husband say, speed
Yeah.
keeps you up. Hold on to
Yeah.
that bike and just keep rolling.
Keep
And I
rolling.
rode through the mountains, and finally when I'm, made it down to the ground, I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? My shifter,
Yeah.
and I'm definitely not a mechanic. I'm messing around, with my bike. I had it
Yeah.
serviced, all of that before I left. So I'm like, my bike should be good. But, I didn't panic because, again, those are things that I learned from my husband. Don't panic. And I just kind of
True.
used my common sense and was like, okay, I got to tie this up somehow. So
Yeah.
I'm like, let me use my phone cord, and I'm going to use my
Yeah, that's right.
phone
You yeah,
cord
you
to
use your charger
to
cord to
tie
do
it
it.
up. Yeah, and I was starting to use my phone cord, my charging cord, and then two white brothers pulled over and they stopped to help me, and they had some zip ties. And
Yeah, I
they was
remember
like, let's
that.
zip tie it. Yeah. And so we
Yeah.
zip tied it together, and I continue my journey. Most people would go to the next Harley, like everybody in the comments, because I shared it. They was like, okay, get to the next town to Harley. And I'm like, I'm good. It's working. And I actually, made it to my destination and made it all the way home with that zip tie,
That's
and, took it
crazy.
to the shop once I landed.
Hey, because you
Yeah.
actually, because I think at the time was Syke trying to talk you through on FaceTime. He was trying to talk you through it on FaceTime. He
Yes.
had something going on.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, Psych was trying to tell me on FaceTime, and then also the homie Gorilla Blue.
Yeah.
Gorilla Blue,
Shout out
Gorilla
to
Blue
Gorilla Blue.
always says,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Captain Save 'em. No
Yeah.
matter where you break down at, somehow
He
Gorilla
there,
Blue
ain't he?
gonna find out,
Yeah.
and he be
Yeah.
ready to get to you.
He
And
sure do.
I was a little ways from Vegas, but not too far. And he was like, "Hey, sis, let me know. I'll come out there and get you." But we
Yeah.
kind of talked through it through live, and like I said, when the brothers pulled up and helped, I was good.
So sis, let's do this. Okay, so you've been riding now since what? 15, 14?
2014, 14.
2014, 2014. Okay, so
Yep,
now we've been riding for 11 years.
yep. Just
It,
going into my 11th year.
48 states now. We're 48 states.
I
20,
completed all 48 states
48 states.
and Mexico.
Uh,
Yep.
uh, and Mexico, across the country multiple times. Uh, God knows, the amount of MC runs and all those other things that you've done. I, I think it's official now. I'm starting to think you're an expert. I'm telling you, I don't. Where else you got to ride the moon? I think it's safe to say that you are an expert now. You've
I
been through.
feel I feel that I'm an expert for me, and I feel that I can offer a lot of advice and guidance, and good information to, a lot of folks that's getting out there to do these rides, especially new women riders.
Mhm.
Um, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm an expert because them U-turns still kicking my butt, but I would say I'm an expert just in the sense of being able to go cross country multiple times and knock on wood through the grace of God, I not went down.
Yeah.
So, I feel like for me, since I haven't went down, then yeah, I think I'm somewhat expert to be able to go
Because
back and
I
forth
think because
multiple times
because
and
I
even
think you know
ride
how to handle
local
it.
and not getting into any accidents.
Because I think you know how to handle yourself. That's a big
Yes,
deal. Knowing how to handle yourself. Just like you said, what Sykes said. For anybody who's riding, whether new riders or experienced riders, we is one thing that you cannot do. You cannot panic. You cannot
yes.
panic. When something bad happens or something's not happening the way you want to, you cannot panic. That is normally what makes things 10 times as bad. Is that fair?
Yes, that
Yeah.
is true. And I would say for me, I learned that early on. How sometimes folks can tell you something, but until you really experience it, you may not believe it. So Sight made a believer out of me when I first started riding and he had me in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just sucked so bad. He would not let me go on the streets until I learned how to use the front and the back brake together, because I would use the front brake and then I would always just use my foot, to stop instead of my back brake. So
Mm-hmm.
he wouldn't let me go out into the street. So when I finally got a little better and he had me go out on the streets, we did a little ride. I think I got real excited because a car pulled up to the next to me at a light, and it was a little kid, a young girl. She probably was about 10 or 11, and she's waving and she's telling her dad at the time, "Oh, look, it's a girl riding," and I'm all excited. I'm waving
Mm-hmm.
back like, "Hey," I'm thinking I'm all that because I'm on the bike, and then the light turned green, and I don't know what I did, but I just like smashed through the lights so fast. I think my hand rolled on the throttle or something and it scared me. And I started losing control. And I saw myself going down, about to crash. And I just remember all the teacher psych would tell me, speed keeps you up,
It
speed
does.
keeps you up,
Yeah.
don't
True.
panic. So I
True.
kind of like calmed down and I just pulled that throttle faster, and I saw that the speed brought me out of the wobble. So once
Mm-hmm.
I came out of the wobble, I kind of relaxed and I'm like, okay, you got this. And then I pulled over immediately because my heart was pounding. Of course, my
Yeah.
husband was on his bike behind
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And we were only like 10 minutes from our house. And he was like, and we had been riding all day practicing. And he was like, babe, are you good? And I'm like, no, I don't think I can continue. He like, okay, well, you wait right here. I'm gonna ride my bike home. I'm gonna get the car and then I'll
Yeah.
ride your bike home. And I say that to say is that again, like what you just stated is you have to make good decisions and you have to understand what's best for you. So
Mm-hmm.
although I came out of the wobble, I was able to pull over safely. I still had that little fear because I almost went down and I was so nervous. So I knew having that fear and being nervous like that, I should not continue to ride.
Mhm.
So, I just stayed there. I let my husband come back. He rode the bike home. I had to get my bearings together,
Yeah, I
regroup.
agree. Yeah,
And then
I
the
agree.
next day we went back out and, we
Get right
continued with
back
my
after it.
training. But from that instance, I learned two things. Fear, you cannot ride if you're scared and you have fear.
True.
And two, speed really keeps you up because
Yeah, it
prior to
does.
that, I will be riding so slow and Psych will be yelling and screaming at me, "You're going to get us killed. You can't be riding that slow." So once I really had that experience where speed shows that speed really keeps you up, I've been smashing so fast ever
Yeah,
since.
yeah. I mean, the bike wants to stay up. The bike
Yes.
does. Just like you said, as long as you throttle, you're gonna stay up.
Yep.
Is when you don't throttle is when the issue
Yes.
start. Hey, but
Yes.
just out of curiosity, was that the bike that was before Storm, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was my first bike. This was a
Yeah,
883.
yeah.
Dang, it's been so long. What's that bike? A 883 Sportster. I
Yeah, it was
named it
883
Hurricane.
Sportster. Yeah,
Yes, that
yeah,
was my first
yeah.
bike, my little tiny bike.
Yeah, I
Yes.
remember that. I remember, and y'all go down memory lane with us, man. We just going down some memory lane today. I remember, y'all. Somebody was videoing y'all, and he was standing behind you, and you were going up and down the street.
Yep.
I
Uh-huh.
remember that way back in the day.
Yep.
Can you imagine? We were on a 883 Sporty at the time. This is in 2014. And,
Yep.
and look at where we at now. Look how far
Yeah.
we've come in 11 years. That's
Exactly.
bananas. And then
It's crazy.
and
It's
then
crazy.
to watch you mentor so many young ladies, and you've mentored quite a few young
Hmm.
lady riders, and
Hmm.
I would just be mesmerized with seeing that on a Saturday morning. Wake up, you giving up your time, sitting out in the sun, cheering those ladies on, encouraging those ladies to ride and to do their thing. And after they ride, you guys would go out and break bread, and y'all will celebrate.
Hmm.
I said, man, spectacular stuff. Just spectacular stuff. It's got to be a great feeling to see each and every time
Yeah.
a young lady come under your tutelage and now she's out there getting all over America. How does that make you feel? Is that cool stuff?
It is. It's really cool. It makes me feel so good because I didn't have that experience with women. So being able to be a woman and do that with other women is truly a blessing. And I feel that's why, God has allowed my journey each time I get on these bikes to be successful because of my heart, because of, giving back and want to see other women succeed. It's no hate, it's no jealousy, it's no competition. Like, I am all for women getting out there, riding their motorcycles. When I have women ask me to ride with them somewhere and they want to, ride their first state, I'm all for it. I'm there for that assistance. And I just really feel that that's what allows me to continue to do what I do safely because, I help so many others.
I love it. I love it. So we okay. For those that don't know, I-10 to the end is just like a walk in the park for Doc, man. It's a walk in the park. I'm just gonna keep it. I'm just gonna keep it a buck for her, man. She get off and do. But say if I'm a new rider, whether it's male or
Mhm.
female, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking about doing this I-10 to the end for the first time. I'm getting ready to go from coast to coast. Maybe I'm leaving from Santa Monica, Pier, California this time, and I'm getting ready to make this ride for the first time. What would be some things that you would want? Say if I called you and say, Doc, what you think? What would be some jewels that you would give to me to prepare for a ride like this?
Well, the first thing I would say, because for me, is safety over everything. So the first thing would be the number one thing. Make sure that your bike is serviced. Make sure, that your bike is serviced. Let's make sure, you got some new tires or that the tires is good. Make sure, depending on where you're coming from and going, if you're leaving from Santa Monica and you got to go to Jacksonville, and that's, I don't know, 3,200 miles one way, then that's 3,200 miles going back, that's 6,400 miles. So you need to make sure, if you're not getting new tires, that you ask your mechanic, you know, how much wear and tear do I have on these tires? I know that's the first thing I do. When I put my bike in the shop, I'm like, hey, I ride a lot. Do I need new tires? If my mechanic is like, no, you're good, I'm like, okay, how many more miles can I ride on these? 500, 1,000, or what? So if he says the tires are good, but I can only ride 1,000 miles and I know I'm going to ride 3,000, I'm going to tell him, you know what, go ahead and change them.
Pull them.
You know what I mean? So for me, the first thing is to make sure that that bike is serviced all the way around, that you have no issues with the bike. Not that issues can't happen, but I'm saying the basics, the T-locks, making sure your tires, your oil, your chains, all of that stuff is good. And then making sure that you have full coverage, insurance, uninsured motorist insurance. Don't ever ride dirty. And then the next thing, I've always said this from day one. When I travel and do these long rides, I'm going to make sure that I have at least $100 for every 100 miles that I go. I'm going to always make sure, so if you're doing 2,000 miles, you should have $2,000 at least. You know what I mean? So for me, I always make sure that I have multiple cards. I'm going to have one card that's going to be strictly for my gas. I'm going to have one card, one major card. If my bike break down, I got to get towed, tires, whatever. Also a part of that insurance, making sure that you have the maintenance plan. Like I have the maintenance plan on my bike, so I only pay like $50. I also have the tire and wheel package on my bike, and I only pay $50 if I have to get new tires. So trips like these can be expensive. So the number one thing I'm going to tell you is, one, make sure your bike is good, and make sure financially you can do it. Like for me, a lot of people do donations and do contributions. And, on this ride, I put up there, hey, y'all know I like to eat. Give me some cash outs for some
Yeah.
steak and
Send a
lobster.
brother something for a
I was
sandwich.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, I was just joking, and I was so humbled that so many people really did cash at me, and I was so blessed for that to happen. And I'm definitely watching the next rider so that I can pay that forward to other riders that's out there. For me, I just put that up there, but anyone knows me know I'm not going to travel and beg and borrow, and I don't need donations. That's not what I'm going to do. For me, if I can afford to go cross country or do the rides, I'm not going to do it. So I would definitely encourage people, that's great if you can, get sponsorships and if you can get donations and all of that. But if you can't, don't hit these highways and your bread not up, because it can be very expensive if something were to happen, on the road. And then for me, when I travel, it's certain type of hotels I want to stay in, it's certain type of food I want to eat. So my trip may be a little more expensive, than the average person. So for me, I have to make sure that I have, my money together when making, that type of trip. So those would be the number one things that, I would tell someone to start, to make sure that the bike is together, and then financially they're straight. And then the next thing is to make sure that their endurance is up, depending on, the time of season that they're going to be
Facts.
riding. Because yeah, everybody can't handle the rain, everybody can't handle cold, everybody can't handle the heat. For me, I love the heat, so the summer month is perfect for me. I don't like riding in cold, so I'm not going to do a ride like this in February or March, because it's too cold for me, So you have to just kind of know your body. And then lastly, if someone comes to me and say, hey, I want to do I-10 to the end or coast to coast, I would ask them, well, what is your reason? Are you doing it for you? Or are
Mm.
you doing it because monkey see, monkey do? Because we are now in a
Or you doing it
generation
for the gram?
where you doing it for the likes, you doing it for the gram, you doing it because your homeboy did it or your homegirl did it. And at the end of the day, if you don't make it back from that ride, the folks that's going to mourn and grieve you is your family.
Mm.
So the number one question would be, why are you doing this ride? Are you doing it for you? You doing it because you want to see the world? You want to become a better rider? Or are you doing it because you saw Pied Piper do it?
Yeah.
Or you saw Most Wanted do it, or you saw Doc
Yeah.
J do it. It's fine to use all of us as inspirations or encouragement to show another female writer and a male writer that if we
Yeah.
can do it, hey, you can do it too. But don't do it because we did it. Do it because it's in your heart and it's something that you want to do.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Wow, you just unpacked some jewels. A couple things that I really really appreciate you saying today is I've had several shows that speak about insurance. Man,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have insurance, you put
Mm-hmm.
yourself in harm's way.
Yeah.
You touched on the ESP, extended service plan.
Mm-hmm.
When you ride with an extended service plan, you ride with a lot more confidence on your
Yes.
ride. If you don't, it will derail your plan in a heartbeat if you don't have an ESP. You talked about wheels and tire pack. Shout out to Memphis, the raggedest roads in America. If you
Oh my
ride through
Lord.
Memphis, Detroit, DC, you better get a wheel and tire package or you're going to be in trouble. And I really, really love the way you brought it at the end and you said, what are you riding this ride for? I don't think nobody's ever said that on this show. When
Mm-hmm.
of course, I have interviews every week of all the
Yeah.
riders, and shout out to all my riders that come in and give us
Yes.
great jewels for their ride. But nobody's ever said. Somebody called me and asked me, "Okay, why are you riding? Are you riding for FHO, or are you riding for Doc J, or are you riding for whoever? Because if you ride for whoever, you're already in trouble. You're already doing
Mm-hmm.
it for the wrong reason. Already
Mm-hmm.
for the wrong reason. Because once you get out there and you tell me, once you get out there a few hundred miles from home, it ain't sexy no more. I don't care how many pictures we
Ooh,
take by signs and we at the Grand Canyon, it ain't sexy.
I swear to God, it's not. Because on this last trip,
Yeah.
several times I was like, why are you doing this ride again? Especially once I passed Louisiana, which was my
Yeah.
destination. I'm like,
Yeah. You're
okay,
like,
and
yo.
you're doing this
Yeah.
because of why? But
Yeah.
I did the I-10 to the end because I did it before, and I only did it again because I was going to Essence Fest.
Hmm.
So just to kind of get into some of the reasons as to why I did it, since we're bringing up and we're talking about, why, make sure you ask the question, why are you doing these rides before you do it? So for those who don't know, last year I had two major back surgeries on my L3, L4 lumbar, and I caught an infection in my spine, in the bone of my spine. And I actually had to have a piece of that bone cut out. And if you don't know, I now have metal screws in my back. So this was my first long distance ride back since my surgery because I was down for a year. It was like I couldn't walk. I was in a
I
wheelchair. I
remember
was with a
that.
walker. I didn't
Yeah.
believe I would be able to walk again, let alone ride a motorcycle, which for me was my peace. Like I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party, really, I don't do none of that. So once
Hmm.
I got into motorcycling, for me, that's my real therapy. I know people say, oh, it's therapy. And sometimes people just say that and don't even really know the meaning behind it,
True.
but for me, it truly has been my saving grace through the loss of my son, health issues, and just going through a lot of life issues. I really fell in love with riding my bike. So I did a ride for International Female Ride Day in March. That was just from Arizona to Dallas. That wasn't nothing. So that was the first ride back. So this ride, typically every year I do the Black Girls Ride to Essence. I missed it last year due to the back surgeries. So once I decided and was like, okay, I'm going to go to Essence, I need to, make sure I can do my long distance riding again, because anybody know me, know I'm a long distance rider. I don't like riding local. Like, that's just not really my thing. I like to really get on my bike and ride. And with my surgeries, I didn't know what that would really feel like. So I said, okay, since I'm riding the Essence, and then from Louisiana to Jacksonville, it's only about, 500 miles. I'm going to go ahead and turn this into a challenge for myself to get my endurance back up, because I haven't rode for a year. I haven't did any long rides like that of 2,000 plus more miles one way. I need to see what my body is going to feel like. So that was the perfect time. I'm like, it's summertime. It's going to be triple digits. My favorite riding weather is going to be perfect. What I did take into account was all that rain.
Yeah, yeah. I tell
But
you,
that's why I did. Yeah, but that's why I did the I-10 to the end again, was just really to push myself to figure out if I still had the same endurance again. Because like you said a little while ago, the ride for me is a piece of cake. It used to be. But this ride showed me that, okay, it's no longer a piece of cake for me. I got to
yeah.
get back, uh, to where I was.
Okay, hold on, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna say this. I've known you too long now, because everything that you spoke about, I remember it. I remember last year. It was the AZ run.
Yep.
It was me and Guns. We came
Yep.
over to see you in the hospital,
Yep.
and you had a smiley face, but we know you wasn't Doc J.
Yep.
You were doing
No.
what you had to do to get through what you had to get through. And I think even at
Yep.
that time, when we saw you, you were still in the hospital. You wasn't getting
Yep.
around. You wasn't able to
No.
do a whole lot of nothing. And just
No.
to think from that point to now, you had the nerve to turn around and ride a motorcycle some over 5,000 miles
Mhm.
just a year later. You're hella special, right?
Yeah.
just to think about it. I mean, just the bravo, and I'm just thinking about it, like, could you've done what she did, in a year's time, and also to say, okay, it wasn't like I was doing a whole lot of tune-up rides for it, so I knew what was at stake. I knew what I had to
Yeah.
do. But
Mhm.
and my wife has said this to me before. She's asked me, like, I think it was a few years ago. She asked me. She says, she kind of did it slick. She said, it's probably like 2 in the morning, went to bed. She says, so you think you ready for this ride that you got coming up? And I thought to
Mhm.
myself, nah. She said, really? I said, but I'm mentally ready. I've
Mhm.
mentally I've mentally taken that ride 10, 15 times. So I
Mhm.
mentally know what I need to do and how I need to do it. Physically is debatable, but
Mhm.
mentally I got to get myself in that headspace and be ready to roll. So I probably equate that to you, and you let me know if I'm wrong. Mentally, I think you knew you were going to be able to make this ride. Physically
Yeah,
is the thing you had to think about.
yeah, most definitely. I've always said from day one, like when I'm out working with girls and I'm mentors, the first thing that I always tell them, anybody can ride a bike and go straight and do all of that. What makes you successful on these bikes when you get on there is your mental state. You have to see the finish line before you even start.
Mm,
You have to prepare mentally. Like for me, any ride that I do, I see the finish line before I even start. If I'm
Bars.
about to ride and I don't see the finish line, then that's God's way of telling me you don't need to be on your bike today.
You don't need
I
to be
tell
on it.
people all the time, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I am not the greatest rider. I still suck. I will always say that I suck. But one thing I do have is I have the heart to get on
Heart.
that bike because mentally, I don't have no fear. And mentally, I know I can do whatever I set my mind to. And I know for me, it's always mind over matter. No matter if I'm in pain, whatever's going on, I'm just going to push through and ignore it until I get to that finish line. So
You
it's always about the mental because once you check out mentally, it's a wrap.
you might well
It's a wrap.
put the kickstand down.
Yeah, you might as well
Yeah.
put the kickstand down. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to, man, to do these rides, you have to mentally be able to handle it because I will tell you on this ride, and I didn't share that with you and D. I shared it with my best friend, and I'll share it today with the viewers.
Okay.
The one thing I learned on this trip, I don't know if it's because of what I went through last year and just different things that I've experienced. But on my ride up, I'm riding, things are good, I'm in my zone. But I noticed kind of towards like I think when I got to Louisiana and I was at the hotel, it was the day before I got to UND house. I was just missing my husband. I was missing my kids. My grandkids again are here for the summer. I was just missing everybody. And I just felt super lonely. And I never have felt that as long as I've been riding and I leave home and I go on these rides, but I couldn't really sleep. I just felt super lonely. And I'm like, man, why are you out here on this road, away from your family? It's like I was in my nice hotel and I just still couldn't get comfortable. And mentally, I was starting to check out. And what saved me was the next morning when I got up and I did the final stretch to Jacksonville and you and D welcome me into your home. You guys offer, to give me a hotel and all. I'm like, no, I can stay right here because you guys know I love the hotels, but I love being with family, and you and D are family. You're not Facebook friends that we met. Like we
Facts.
really know each
We
other
we know
for
each other. Yeah.
over a decade,
That's
our
true.
kids, so you guys are family. So when I came to your house, it was like a burden was lifted off my shoulder. I was able to relax. Your home is so beautiful and comfortable. It was like my home. I could sleep on the floor and don't have to worry about no roaches. It wasn't dirty. I'm just saying, like, it was
Yeah.
really comfortable because that's what I did.
Yeah.
It's like I dropped in the bed and, Mama D was like, no, I
Yeah.
want you to be in the bigger bed. This bed is,
Yeah.
I'm like, this bed is perfect. Like, I'm
Yeah.
so comfortable. I could take this pillow and sleep on the floor, and I slept so good that night. Like the first couple of nights on the road, I slept good, but that Louisiana night, I didn't sleep good. And then, like I said, I started kind of checking out and coming to your home and being able to relax. And usually I don't stay with people when I'm on the road because that's just not what I do. But staying with you guys and me and D having dinner together, having conversations together,
Awesome.
laughing and
Awesome.
joking,
Awesome.
it's like I was with family again. So the loneliness, it went away. You know what I mean? So then my
Yeah.
mental came back like, okay, you're at the end, you got this, go ahead and finish it. So I say all of that to say that sometimes when you do these rides like this and you're out on the road for so many days, you have to find something that's going to refuel you and recharge you. And for me on this trip, it was you and D, like just being in your home and being surrounded with family for that one day gave me, the determination that I needed to go ahead and, finish the ride. And like I said, I've done this a lot and I've never experienced that loneliness that I felt. And, I was thinking, Pied Piper, I love Pied Piper. That's my girl. I'm so
Shout
motivated
out
by
to
her. But I
Piper.
start thinking about her. I'm like, every time I look up, this girl is on the road like 365 days that a year. I'm like, how does she do it? Because I was so over that ride. Like, I was really missing my family. I was like, I don't know when I'm going back out on the road,
Wow.
because that was crazy. And I think that's what people got to really realize. And that's why I encourage people, don't be doing these rides for monkey see, monkey do. Because at the end of the day, your family, your friends, your immediate circle that really, really loves you, these rides can really be dangerous. There is no guarantee that we are going to make it home to our family. You know what I
So
mean?
true. So true.
So this ride just really put that in perspective for me. Like, just the loneliness and missing my family. It was just like, okay, you got this one out your system. You can still ride. Physically, you good. It's just like, be real selective of the rides and things that you continue to do from this point forward. And it was an experience too. I had my mental kind of like, whoa, because it was a brother that went out on a run, on a ride, and he didn't make it back home.
True.
And so
Yeah.
hearing about that, and hearing that, he left two kids behind, and he had lost
Yeah.
his wife prior,
Yeah.
so now the
Condolences to the
kids don't
family.
have
Yeah.
a
That's
mom
true.
or a dad.
That's true.
And getting that story, I think I got that story the day before I made it to Jacksonville.
Yep.
So
You
I
were on the
think that
road. Yeah.
also played a
Yeah.
part in my mental of
Yeah.
missing my family and questioning, like, why are you doing this again? You know what I mean? So it's really important that we have fun with these rides, and you know we share and we give knowledge, but please just always make sure you're doing these rides for you and for the right reasons, because the goal is to always get back home to your family. And unfortunately, sometimes that may not be in God's plans, and you got to be prepared for that.
Man, let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Hey man, Doc is dropping bars today. I'm just gonna say this. This is starting to become like the best interview I've ever done. Especially when we're
Oh,
talking about riding. I'm dead serious because you unpacked a lot of things, and I think it's very very important for us not to just kind of skim over it. I didn't even think about that when you said missing my family on the road and dealing with
mhm,
what I was dealing with because let's be honest. Over the years' time, you've dealt with some medical issues that you had to overcome. You've
mhm,
dealt with family issues that you've had to overcome. You're playing with the highway plays games with your mind. It does. It plays games with
mhm.
your mind. Can
Yes.
I do it? Is it worth it? Should I just turn around? We say the old folks, you say doubt is a tool of the devil, but on the highway, doubt will play with you in a minute. It will tap you on the
Mhm.
shoulder when your neck hurt on your helmet is your head hurting and your back is hurting. You're like, homie, 600 miles is good enough. You ain't got nothing to
Man,
prove. Turn around, doesn't that? And here you are,
man, I swear.
yeah, and you dealing with this.
I swear.
Good. I tell you what, this I'm gonna cap this interview. We're gonna cap this up, and I'm gonna chop this up into pieces. This is coming back out into shorts. I really appreciate this is by far has been one of the most interesting interviews that we've done, especially when we're talking I-10 or long distance ride, because
Mhm.
I can relate to everything that you're saying. I can relate to
Yeah,
everything that you're talking about. And just to think, when we saw you come in, you were tired. You were.
man.
I could see that you were mentally exhausted. And I
And
remember
I think it was definitely more mental exhaustion than
then physical.
physical exhaustion. Yeah, because I was telling my husband too and my girlfriend, I was like, usually, I do these rides and it's nothing. I'm like, it seemed like the one day every 30 miles, I was just like falling asleep. I'm like, why am I so tired? But I think a lot of it too was because I was kind of over it because that's when I was missing my family. And so I was just like kind of over it. And that's another thing that I do want to say though. Um, if you are tired, please pull over. Like I didn't have any hesitation with pulling over. Like when I'm riding, I saw myself falling asleep. I'm kind of swerving. I'm like, okay, this is not good. It's not that serious. For me, when I did the ride, there was no rush. You know, I slow rolled it because I had the time. You know, I had 10 days off of work. You know, it really only takes a day and a half to get to Jacksonville, 2 days max. So I really had a lot of time to kind of play out there. So with that being said, I'm like, there's no rush, pull over. So literally from Louisiana to Jacksonville on that first stretch to get to your house, man, I had about, I think about a 5 hour ride, 6 hour ride. I turned it into like 12, 13 hours because
I
I
remember.
literally had to pull over
Yeah, I remember.
every
Yeah.
30, 40
Yeah.
miles. Like
I think
I
that was
was
I think
tired.
that was that I think it was that morning when you left.
Yes.
Was it
When I
Gulf?
left
It wasn't.
Mississippi,
It
it
was
was Gulfport
Gulfport
in Mississippi.
leaving
Yes.
Gulfport. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I watched you and I was like, yo, Doctor,
Like,
get
what
me
is
up
going
here
on with
today.
her? Yeah,
Yeah,
even my husband
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
what is going on? Like,
Oh,
you do
he tapped in a
1,200
couple
miles.
times.
That's
Yeah, he tapped.
not.
Yeah, he tapped in a couple times. Like, hey man, see that? Yeah, I said, bro, she 11 miles down the road. We right here. And then I remember him and we text back and forth. I think that was by
Mhm.
at that point. You were already at the house and
Mhm.
you guys was eating, and he hit me and say, "Are y'all going live tonight?" I said, "Man, she ain't going live at all. She done." I said,
I'm done.
"Yeah, it's time to go
I
to
was like,
bed."
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I done crossed over the finish line. I'm at
Wow.
home, no hotel
Wow.
tonight. I am
Yeah.
so comfortable. So I
Yeah.
was over it. But I say all of that just to say that falling asleep on these bikes or even in your car, it can really be life altering and dangerous. If you are tired,
Oh
it's
no.
okay to pull over. I feel like, not I feel, I know what has kept me safe on all of my rides, including this one, is my good spidey senses and going with my gut. The one thing I will say that I love about riding solo and riding by myself is because I can ride at my own pace. I can stop however many times I want to stop. I don't have to worry about anyone. Even when I got caught in the rain, one of my good friends, you know, she told me, she was like, dang, this is a messed up time to be riding by yourself when you're out there in the rain. And I said, no, actually, it's the best time. I prefer to be out in the rain by myself because one, I'm going to make a good decision. I know what my limits are. I only have to worry about me. If I'm riding with a group of people in my mind, I got to worry about, you know, are they going to use good common sense to pull over? Or are they going to play Superman and Superwoman and try to do all this extra stuff through the rain instead of using common sense and pulling over if you have to? So for me, riding solo in the rain, I felt relieved that I was by myself because I didn't have to worry about no one else. I didn't have to worry about anyone else getting hurt. I only had to worry about me. And I can ride through the rain. The one thing my husband taught me, he was like, when you're riding through the rain, typically you don't pull over, you keep riding because the more you ride through it, you're going to end up, you know, catching a break. You're going to
Yeah.
ride through a different little pocket of town or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's not going to be raining. But on the flip side to that, if you're riding in the area where it's no townships, you're basically in the mountains and you're on one of those highways that's not really a highway. It's one lane going this way, one lane going that way, and you cannot see. and it's coming down and it's flooding and you're getting emergency warnings on your phone that's saying flash flood warning, get to higher ground, you better use that common sense to pull over at the first exit that you can find where it's safe. You know what I mean? And that's what
I
happened
agree.
to me on the way back in Caryville. That was the same area where, what, I think it was 3 days prior to me. What
Yeah,
was it, like
yeah,
130 people or some people passed?
yeah,
I
and
was in that
they still
exact
pulling
same
things out right
area.
now.
Yeah, and I was in that exact same area. So if them people didn't survive, I would be a fool to keep trying to ride through that. For what? And the spot that I was at, it was going to take me an hour to even get into a area that had a gas station, that had a city, that had anything going on for himself. So I used my best judgment. I'm like, hey, let me pull over and let me wait this thing out.
You're absolutely right. But hey, man, we can't keep Doc J all day. I promised her we were
I
gonna keep
know,
this
I'll
thing an
be
hour
sleepy.
early. So we're a couple minutes away. But let me say this, Doc J,
Okay.
before we let you get back to family time.
Mhm.
Again, thank you so much. You unpacked a lot today, and I must say it was my I enjoyed this interview more than I've enjoyed a lot of them. I've enjoyed a lot of interviews, but
Oh, thank you.
this one really hit home because I love the way you really tied things into family, knowing yourself, riding your ride, and as you were saying, you like to ride by yourself. I notice now. I enjoy riding with my brothers. I do. I love riding with my dysfunctional brothers in LA. They dysfunctional as heck, but they my people. I
Yeah.
enjoy riding with them, and I really do. Love riding with the AZ brothers and some of the Arkansas brothers. But I really, really enjoy riding by myself
Hmm.
because it just does something for me. I'm on my own clock. I love not
Yeah.
being on somebody else's pressure. And you right, we 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 sometimes we get the locker room ego when we start riding together. We start pushing each other to do
Hmm.
things that we shouldn't be pushing each other. And we call it, we used to call it in the Marine Corps, we used to call it we go tribal. The bigger the
Hmm.
tribe, the better the chance of bad things happening.
Yep.
Because,
I believe it.
you're always going to push things to the 10th power. And I totally agree with what you're saying. Being by yourself sometimes it gives you the best opportunity to make the best
Mhm.
judgment call for your life. And ultimately, the mission is not to get where you're going. The mission is to get back home to your family. Is that true?
Yes, that is definitely true. The challenge is not complete until you make it home.
Until you make it home. So,
Yeah.
folks, she's Doc J. She's number
That's
3. And I'm going to tell everybody this, Doc J,
it.
I was 1. FHU Atlanta was 2. You were 3. You were like a triple
I feel
OG in this thing.
special.
Let's do this, man. Hey, you did I-10 to the end before we had all this stuff. We were like like cavemen with the stones and the rocks.
Yeah.
But thank you, Doc. Thank you for
Yes.
being so honest with us. Thank you for being
Yes.
so informative to us today. And because of people like you, we are going to become better motorcycle riders. And this show getting clipped
Yes.
up. I'm telling you that now. We clipping the hell out of this show because you dropped some bars today, and I want people to be able to go back and review what you say. I'm going to probably work on putting some
So,
timestamps over the next few days
okay.
because I think what you put down, we all should be checking out and picking up because it really is going to put all this stuff in perspective. So, Doc, last words before we let you get back to the family. What you got for us?
Well, one, I want to thank you and Dee for your sponsorship, sponsor me on this ride, the hospitality. Love you guys to death. And again, I just want to make sure everybody stays safe on these motorcycles. Make sure you keep that insurance. Make sure you keep your bread up. Make sure you keep that maintenance on that bike. And make sure you do it for the heart. Each one, teach one, and keep enjoying it. Keep it motorcycling, you dig?
Hey, keep it motorcycle, you dig? She's Doc J, man. She's family, man. Hey, Doc, because of you, we are going to be better motorcycle riders. And much
Yes,
love to
sir.
you. Much love
Love
to my
you.
brother Syke, who put me on game when all this stuff was started at the beginning, when I was a small fry in this whole motorcycle get out. So much love to you, my brother, the whole
Thank
AZ
you.
family out there. Can't wait to see
Thank
you guys
you.
soon. Take care. Be
Yeah.
blessed, Doc.
Thanks. Thanks, brother.
Peace.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, so there you got it, man. The fabulous Doc J Titan Award 2021, man. Iron Elite Family, I-10 to the end, Gold Star recipient, second award. Man, just did her thing, man. This interview was a classic, man. I think we're going to go ahead and clip this interview up, man, to make sure we keep this in archives, because I think what she was saying was so, so important. We didn't talk a whole lot about the mechanics of the ride. We didn't talk a whole lot about, the equipment of the ride. We talked about the human part of the ride, things that you experience on the ride. And as you can see, she gave us the not so sexy part of the ride. You're out there, man, and doubt hitting you and missing the family, being occupied with other things in your mind, man. It's tough. I know a lot of times when we do these rides, man, we're taking our pictures and we're by the state sign and we're flexing. I'm telling anybody who's made this cross country ride, it's 95% work and 5% fun. Those smiles that you see us at the picture, at the sign, and we smile and we're flexing, man, that's 10 seconds for the photo. And then it's the other 95% of that heat, the rain, the cold, the long terms on the motorcycle, the not so hot sleep in the hotel room, the waiting in traffic. It's all those things that are unsexy things that now you got to go handle. But we wouldn't have it no different, man. That's why motorcycle riders, man, we respect each other so much, because we know what each other have to go through to get from point A to point B to go do some of these epic things around the country, man. We understand the risk that we take each and every time we get on these motorcycles. So that's why it's so important for you to A, stay prayed up, B, have good quality insurance, C, have a good pit crew network, and D, have a great family who's in support of you, because when your mind ain't right, you don't need to be on the motorcycle. When your mind ain't right, you're putting yourself in harm's way. I'm just telling you that now. Love it. I make no bones about it. We love riding. All my motorcycle family, my Iron Elite family, we love what we do. We understand there's an inherent risk to what we're doing and what we do. So you should do everything in your power, you, your family, your friends, your network, to mitigate as many risks as humanly possible. Not riding when you're tired. Do not ride when you're tired. I'm going to say it again. Do not ride when you're tired. Safety over ego. Safety over ego. Pull over. Recoup. Don't ride all day and don't eat, man. I'm done with that. I'm so done with that. If your motorcycle needs fuel, you need fuel. I don't care. I don't want to go to sleep, so I don't eat that much. Eat something, man. Bananas, nuts, protein. Do something so your body can continue to perform at optimal level. If a person rides with you and say, no, we ain't going to eat to the end of the day, don't ride with them. Don't ride with them. You do what's best for your body. Snack, continue to hydrate over and over again. Nobody's saying eat a steak, or nobody's saying eat a bucket of chicken. That ain't what I'm talking about. Bananas, nuts, fruit. You got to keep your body operating at maximum ability, or you're putting yourself in harm's way. You're putting other riders on the road in harm's way. You're putting civilians in harm's way. You're putting your family in a bad situation when you're doing those things. If you didn't get enough sleep the night before, don't bother. Leave later. Get yourself a rest. If you didn't get enough sleep the night before, Be man enough, be woman enough to tell the crowd, to tell the group, to tell yourself, I'm going to go ahead and hold off a couple more hours, and I'm going to get myself rested, and I'm going to be ready to roll. Safety over ego, folks. Safety over ego. Don't take chances that you don't have to take. Get home to your family safe and sound. That's all I got to say. For those folks that joined us this evening, man, shout out to you, man. Breezy does it. Appreciate you, man. DJ D Ready. My man Joe Fan. Appreciate you, my guy. Ballhead Nasty. You know how I rock with you, my guy. K4L. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that awesome song. We got to get together, man. We need to go ahead and side B this thing and get it cracking. PD Hydrophonic. Appreciate you for being on with us. Guy, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody for rocking with us today, man. It was an awesome show. It was a privilege today to do this show, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And for everybody out there, man, the end of the month is coming soon. Let me see if I can pop it up here. Let me see where we're getting at. The Titan Award is coming up. We need to get all our nominees in, all our nominations in by the end of the month. We're running out of time. Facebook group page. Let's see if we can split screen here and see what I can pop up. Y'all be patient with your boy. Give your boy a second here. Let's see if we can screen share. Okay, here's the Iron Elite page, man. Iron Elite group page. Iron Elite Home of the Ground Pounders Reunion. If you go up, let me pop out of this. If you go up to the top of the page to the featured section, take it on down here. Where we at? The Titan Award nomination, man. Here's the link for the Titan Award nomination. I'm going to put the link also in the description of the YouTube, on the YouTube channel. But that's what the link looks like. You click onto the link. It takes you just a few minutes to fill out the link for you to put your nomination in, so we can go ahead and get your nomination in for the 2026 Titan Award, man. I know you guys know plenty great role models out there who would make great Titans. Matter of fact, we just interviewed one who's an awesome role model out here in the motorcycle community. So hit that link, man. Get your nomination in, get your nominee in. At the end of the month, we're capping this thing at 31 July, man. And then we'll be closing it out, and it'll go right into vetting and judging, man. So there it is on the Facebook group page, Iron Elite Home of the Ground Pounders Reunion, Home of the Titan Award, as well as it will be in the link. It will be in the link of today's show, the Titan Award. And I think if I can get the time this week, I'll probably do a small show on the Titan Award nominee as well, man. So we had a great time, had a great show today. Again, thank you to Doc J for coming on and giving us some time today to talk about long distance riding, specifically her I-10 to the end riding. She was the family. I miss my family edition, man. And telling us the real, man. I told you she married Jay Blige on the motorcycle, Fantasia. She all those, man. She gonna give you the uncut funk and tell you truly what it is. Not very often you're gonna get a person to come on and say, I was over it. I was over it. I was tired. I just wanted to go do something else. I wanted to get it over with. Also a person that when I saw her last year in AZ, I had to go see her at the hospital. And here she is now, a year later, on a bike, some 5,000, 6,000 miles on a bike after being laid up in a hospital bed and having surgery just a year before. They don't build them like that every day, man. They do not build them like that. So again, thank you for everybody joining us today, man. I would encourage, and I truly would appreciate it if you share this show with as many friends as you humanly possibly can. Share the show, man. And if you like what you see on the YouTube and what we're doing and what we're putting down, man, be so kind. Reach up and subscribe to the channel. Hit a like, man. Give us comments. We want to know how you feel about what we're doing and how we're getting down, man. So don't forget to make a comment for today's show. Hit the like, and we'll see you guys soon. Shout out to my guys, Sons of Solomon, man. I got X-Man and Bookman. They're out there in El Paso right now. They're bedding down, man. Those guys just knocked off some 1,500 miles. So they're getting a good night rest because tomorrow, God willing, and the creek don't rise, they're going to be in Santa Monica Pier, man, and we'll be congratulating those guys as well. For all my riders that are getting ready to come up and do this I-10 to the end at the end of the month, prepare yourself, man, because summer is summering out there on the I-10, man. The weather's no joke. There's a lot of rain. There's a lot of heat. There's a lot of construction, and there's a lot of wildlife. Prepare yourself accordingly, folks, to make sure you have the best opportunity to win at this thing called I-10 to the end. So in the meantime, in between time, man, y'all keep it motorcycling, you dig? Peace.
Hey now, it's your girl Piper, the 2025 Iron Elite Female Titan, and you're now tuned in to Sarge on the Iron Elite Podcast Show, home of the Ground Pounders Reunion and the Coast to Coast Run, the social experiment, where motorcycling is not just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. You dig? Now like, share, subscribe, and follow for all things motorcycling, and I'll see you on the slab.
This is the Mileage Bully, the Moto Mob CEO, and your 2024 Titan. You are now listening to Sarge on the Iron Elite Podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. If you're not listening to the Iron Elite Podcast, what are you really doing? Because we are talking motorcycles over here. You dig?
Hey y'all, it's Snacks reminding you to tune in to the Iron Elite Podcast. You dig?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this your man Kodak, the most hated, coming to you live from the Iron Elite Podcast with my man, Big Sarge, where we always keep it motorcycle. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know what it is.
Hey, it's your boy Low Key. Y'all know I roll with Big Sarge and the Iron Elite, home of the Titan Award and the Ground Pounder Family Reunion. Each one teach one, you dig?
I ain't got too much to say, but y'all make sure y'all bring that same energy out here next week and